urban style individual.
What's up with y'all? Hopefully this video finds you in good spirits, and if not, well, at least you not DSP. And I gotta be real with y'all, man. When I say that, I mean it, because I don't care what you got going on, you're not this guy, which means there's a chance. Real talk. But let's get to why we're here. This was some of the most boring shit that I ever had the displeasure of having to watch. I'm being real about it. And I couldn't get through all of it. It was terrible. Phil really brought on Wings of Redemption to try to convince him of how happy he is. That's really what this was. This was so on brand for Phil, because this felt just like a normal level 1 podcast. Phil talking about his favorite subject, himself. Seriously, it was boring. And on top of that, Phil, you're a terrible, terrible interviewer. I mean, if we had to do a pie chart of a split of who talked the most and who talked the longest, it's probably an 80-20, probably a 70-30 split. Phil was just going and going and going. And you could tell there were times where Wings was trying to get a word in edgewise, and he just couldn't, because Phil just sucks all the oxygen out of the room. So let's get into it.
Before we even think about adjourning, so let me ask you, it's been a long time coming. I know for a fact that you've talked about me over the years. You probably know of me and my content. You've watched some of it. Do you have anything you've ever wanted to ask me, honestly, up front? It could be anything. I don't care if it's a troll thing. I don't give a fuck. Do you have anything you ever wanted to ask me? I will answer it for you right now.
Why don't you play WWE Champions?
I did. I played it last year. I made a whole bunch of videos on it, and I spent money on it too.
Yeah, well, I was saying, because like if you put your name into like Google, you know how like Google has like this AI thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the first thing that pops up about you is like the WWE Champions thing.
I know, it's stupid, isn't it?
No, it's not stupid. It's what you're known for. That's part of being infamous, Phil. And Wings of Redemption here makes a good point. In a different universe, under different circumstances, maybe Phil is a really popular streamer who is streaming WWE Champions at a high level. Who knows? You know, and this is something that I've seen even other detractors talking about. I think I might even said it myself. I mean, we seen that was the only game that he truly enjoyed. So, I mean, it makes sense.
But it's like, is it real? Did you really spend like a sports car worth of money on this game?
Well, the game, let's give you a full background.
Now, you know, it's about to be some madness every time Phil wants to go into a history lesson. But this is his MO. He just has to feel.
The game came out in 2017. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's been out since then. So it's like over 8.5 years the game's been out. Since the game came out, yeah, I spent a lot of money on it.
So what Phil is trying to say here is, based on how long the game has been out, I haven't really spent that much money on it. That's what he's saying without saying it. But I'm gonna let them continue.
For sure. 100%.
Because like I've seen numbers, and like I'm like, these numbers can't be real. Because like people were like basing it off like your bank account leaks and everything else. And it's like Phil has spent like $100,000 off this game in the last 10 years.
The truth is, I have absolutely no clue how much I've spent. I don't. I really don't. I never tallied it all up or whatever.
Now, remember, this is how he opened this statement. He says he has no idea. Now listen.
But the numbers that these people use are always erroneous, because here's why. The way mobile games work, there's two ways to buy in a mobile game. You can either buy directly through the mobile game, and that's expensive as fuck, or they all have ways to bypass the game and buy outside because they get the money directly, and then the Apple store or a fucking Google store don't get a cut. Okay?
This is how locked in Phil is to mobile games, that he knows the back alley and the shortcut ways to get the gems or the crystals or whatever the precious or rare currency is in that particular game that he's playing. This is truly pathetic.
Okay. People who actually play these games for real don't ever spend money in the game. You'd be an idiot.
So you perfected the art of getting to the slot machine. Like instead of paying the slot machine's fee, you're like, I'm gonna pay the slot machine repair guy's fee.
Yeah. Why on earth would you buy full price ever? You don't. And depending on where you buy, you can get credits that now you get free shit and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So they base all their calculations on, if I was a complete fucking idiot and I opened my wallet and tossed money at the game, I spent 100 grand. No, I didn't spend 100 grand. That's a moron that does that. You use the ways that they provide to save the money, to get the discount, to have.
Well, you just said that you don't know how much you spent. So how can you now put a definitive number on it? This is why this makes no sense. And furthermore, how could you call somebody an idiot when you are partaking in the things that you're calling others idiots for? So what's the threshold here, Phil? Because obviously there must be a dollar amount that you're talking about, because you said only idiots would buy the currency through the store. So what's the cutoff on a mobile game where somebody's considered not an idiot, and then they cross that, and then now, according to Phil, they're an idiot? Is it $5,000? Is it $10,000? Because we know Phil always has to put people in boxes to try to separate himself from the things that he's clearly doing.
Have the character. By the way, so for example, there's an event going on, right? If you have the character from last month that was the new character in the game, you already beat the event. You didn't have to spend any money, because that's how it's built.
But you say it's more, spend 100 grand, but like people are going to take that. Like, even if you got 50% off, that's still $50,000 of 100 grand. That's a Chevrolet Tahoe.
You're right.
Like,
you're absolutely right. And I think what it is everyone has something that they like to spend money on, right?
No, this is Phil trying to make it as if what he does is normal. It's just this is his particular cup of tea. But all this really does is showcase how much Phil does not know about normal people. Phil, most people don't have something that they're spending upwards of $50,000 to $100,000 on, especially considering this started eating into your essential resources to the point where you could not pay your bills and you had to call your damn mom. Normal people are not doing that. In fact, normal people will look at somebody who is doing that and say, man, something's got to be wrong with this dude.
Right?
Here's the hard question, Phil. Here's the hard question. What was going on in your life at the time that made you go to WB Champions to get to that point where it's like you had to do this? Like, what was the appeal of it? Like, did you like being high on the leaderboard? Did you like just being good at the game? Was it something you did while you were like inebriated? Like, what headspace are you in when you're buying like $200 worth of this stuff?
Now, I can appreciate where Wings is going with this, because he wants to understand the methodology, the thought process. What were you thinking in that moment? Because this is very bizarre behavior. So a lot of people will want to know what somebody was thinking in that moment, because this is something that you normally wouldn't experience in life. It's a lot of the reason why after a professional athlete wins the NBA Finals or the Super Bowl and they scored a game-winning touchdown, and one of the first questions they'll ask them is, what were you feeling in that moment? And that's an opportunity for the athlete to put you in the same space that they're in, because otherwise you would never experience something like that.
It depends. Like, for example, at first, whenever you start playing something new and there's the feeling, the endorphin rush that, oh, if I just buy something immediately, I get a bunch of the top tier shit, and now it's like a shortcut into winning. It's not like us playing console games where you want to earn it. In these games, it's literally spend to win. Everyone knows that about mobile games. It's spend to win. So you spend, you immediately get to win. You immediately get that, oh, I level up the good new character. I'm kicking ass. I'm beating all the game modes and stuff like that. For me, mobile games have literally never been more than just a way to have something passively relaxing to do in the background.
How have mobile games been nothing more than something passively to do in the background when you sustaining yourself hinged on this addiction? This is why I say people with addictions, you have to be careful, man. They will say anything. That addiction is their best friend. They're going to listen to that first. And I don't care how logical you are about what you're presenting to them. Usually the more logical you are, the less they are going to listen.
I never sit here and I'm like, I'm going to play WWE Champions for 4 hours straight right now. It's never happened.
So how did you end up spending all those thousands of dollars? The game didn't play itself. And every time I pop onto Raw, Phil, I try to, like, after the stream is actually over, there's somebody in the comments. I wish I would have got their name. I would have shouted you out in the video. That's my fault. But they always have a comment. They say, Sons of SmackDown last logged in however many minutes ago. Meaning The second his late stream turns off, he's spending that money, even now.
I'll do that, but something else is going on, or you know what I mean.
I don't knock people for spending money in games because like people spend money to entertain themselves all the time. Like that's not a knock I have. I'm just curious about the mindset that people have to be in there, because people go to the bar and drink fucking $200 away. I don't give a fuck if you do that or you want to buy the new skin on Rainbow, whatever it is, whatever makes you happy in life. We're here for a short time, not a long time.
Sure, but it's not about what you're spending money on per se, even though sometimes it can be. It's about moderation. Life is about balance. Anytime you start to dwell in excess, you're going to start having problems. Too much of anything can be a bad thing. I don't give a damn what it is. We all drink water. We all clean ourselves with it. But if I threw you in the middle of the ocean, you would drown because it's just too much damn water.
You know, like nothing we do actually ever fucking matters. In a long enough timeline, Hitler disappears, right?
Eventually.
I'm just saying, eventually, it's like I bet there's like, if I asked you right now, like Chinese dictator names from like the 16th century,
right?
Most people don't know who they are,
right?
But what a really diluted way of going through life. I mean, if that's the case, then nothing matters. Wings, seriously, why are you getting up in the morning? Why are you paying your bills? Why are you eating? Why are you doing any of the things that you're doing if none of it matters in the grand scheme of things? That doesn't make sense. This is typical lolcow behavior, trying to minimize their own behavior by acting as if it's really not a big deal because it's on the internet. In the grand scheme of things, look, man, that was a terrible example to try to minimize you and your butt buddies here behavior.
Long enough time, like everything goes away. But I just find it funny is like you said you play him passively and you do all this stuff and you ever. I always feel like failure is a recipe for success. And I've looked at your record and it's something like 2,000 some wins and like 17 losses or something like that. Some very obscure number. I don't know the exact numbers, but like it's very lopsided. You have like a 95% win rate or something.
Oh, in the game, like the game's matches and stuff. Oh, do you know why? Because in the game you just cheat.
Now you see how he basically combusted into laughter after he said the word cheat. Is almost as if he could not help himself. Now I want y'all to pay attention to the things that he says that's coming up here in a second. It's going to get some insight into how terminally online he is.
Yeah, but did you get caught up in like did you get caught up in camaraderie and stuff like that? Because you're in clans.
Oh, so if you're playing the game and you're about to lose a match, you close the app and it doesn't count.
Oh, so you're a plug puller. Oh, yeah, I hated you in Mortal Kombat.
It's been like that since day one. Like in that game, all mobile games are like that too. Like if you're about to get fucked, you just, whoop, oh fuck you. It does. But in that game, wins and losses don't matter. Like no one ranks against it or anything. It's not competitive. Just said is low.
So if wins and losses do not matter, then why are you doing it? That's the real question. You want people to be able to look up your win-loss ratio and talk about how great you are, Phil. Seriously, that means a lot to you, and it means a lot to you because you are terminally online. You're trying to minimize how much you spent on these games. When is Cat ever going to get a vacation, bro? Wing said you spent what's equivalent to a car on this mobile game. For many of us, it might be a high-end car, right? But Cat's still sitting in that house getting lukewarm DoorDash. Damn.
Your God's entire career.
That's right. But the difference is I do it as a casual thing for fun on the side. I'm not like, putting videos out of that shit and and promoting, oh, that's how you should do. I never do that shit when I play a fighting game or, I play it out.
Phil, there's nothing casual about spinning yourself into a stupor to the point where you have to rely on your audience and your parents to sustain yourself. Your attempts at minimizing this is really showcasing how serious this thing has a hold over you because you're still playing to this day. And anybody who's dealt with a drug addict, you know that there's two types of people who recover primarily. It's people who recover and can never be around whatever they were addicted to ever again because they know they'll partake, so they'll just abstain entirely. And then there's people who can be around the thing that they were addicted to and not partake because they're mentally strong enough to deal with it. Phil is not the type of person that can be around gambling and not partake. He's still far too impulsive because he never really felt the consequences of his actions, primarily financially.
In that case, I think that's the right thing to do. I'm not going to ruin someone's record or fuck them out of points or whatever, because I pulled the plug there. Mobile game, who gives a fuck, right?
You do. That's why you're doing it, right? Why else would you rage quit or close app on your phone? You care about it, Phil.
But yeah, no, here's the thing. I will say this. Back in the day, I spent a lot more. Admittedly, I spent way too much. I've already talked about this till I was blue in the face. I
know, but
I spent too much.
Anything.
It's fine. I take no offense whatsoever at this. I spent too much money. I was out of control. I went through a bankruptcy, right? I went through all this stuff. I am much better today. Do I still spend money on mobile games today? Oh, go ahead.
Was being a part of the clan part of it? Like you wanted to keep up with the boys and be the power and be the powerful unit. Like, because I figured that was part of it because you were in a clan in the game. I'm like,
no, pay very close attention to how Phil answers this question.
These guys are counting on him to be this strong all the time. And did you like that aspect of it? Is that what helped you spend? Because like there was a period, this is going to be bad. It's going to sound bad, right? There was a period where you were having back taxes problems and you did this fundraising stream. And I want to say it was $10,000.
No, right? I never raised $10,000. Never.
that might have been the number you were aiming for, but whatever it is, but you got like $4,000 or $5,000 on this fundraising stream. And then that night you spent like $1,000 on WWE champions.
I have no idea if that's true or not. I doubt it.
He doesn't know if that's true or not because it's happened so many times. That's why he doesn't know if it's true or not. There's so many times. What's the guy's name? TJ Gamebox. And I think Duty, he used to do like a breakdown of the spending. This guy, again, is trying to minimize what he does. Look at him trying to feign ignorance. Oh, I don't think I've ever done that before. Please, Phil. You probably did it last night.
That's probably what they said.
I'm like, what makes this person make this choice? And that's the curious thing about. I don't care about all the things like, all right, you get $5,000. I need to pay I'm using fake numbers here. Don't look at the numbers as like actual numbers. You get X amount of money here. You owe the IRS this amount of money. What makes you make the choice of taking this money and putting it in a third party, which is WWE champions?
Now you see how Wings is approaching this. He's using deductive reasoning for the most part. He's looking at this from the perspective of somebody who would not have an addiction. And like, what makes you decide to spend money that you know you need for other things on something that essentially means nothing? Because I mean, people talk about flushing money down the toilet, but I mean, this is probably one of the best examples of that because you literally get nothing out of this. At least as a drug addict, you get a buzz. If you like women, you know what comes with that, but with this, what do you get?
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, what makes that concept?
You're basically, what you're asking me is
like, why are you not paying the rent?
Exactly. Is it the level of addiction where even though I know that there is hardcore bad consequences that I can't stop, that I would still blow the money on it? At one point it was. I'll tell you that outright. Actually, with WWE Champions, it was bad. And there was another game too that I've talked about, WWE Supercard, that I played before WWE Champions. And that one was even worse, actually, where I was dumping money into it. Like you had to pay $700 to even like participate properly in an event. I'm not kidding. It was that bad. Like to get a stupid Hulk Hogan card. It was like, you had to keep dumping money to play in the event. It was insane.
So are y'all hearing this, Dents? I'm addressing the Dents right here. Are y'all listening to this? This is the equivalent to somebody being an alcoholic, on meth, or whatever other strong drug for the better part of 2 decades. That's essentially what he's saying here. I used to deal with this and that led to this and now I'm doing this, and he's still playing mobile games. So what makes you think at any point that this is going to stop? Because what Phil really needs is an intervention. And what I mean by that is people cutting him off so he's forced to make better decisions. You see that all the time on the show named Intervention. They'll have their family come in, the people who have been enabling them, and they tell them, look, you can no longer come to my house. Don't ask me for no money because I know what's coming with that. and you need to go to treatment. Now, to my knowledge, and people can correct me on this, I don't know if Phil has ever went to any type of therapy for this. You telling me that he had the wherewithal to just break these bad habits on his own? He can partake in the thing that he almost lost his house for, but he can toe that line and make sure it doesn't go that far this time? I don't believe that.
So you knew anyone who had the card was basically dumping insane amounts of money into this game. It was the only way to do it. In regards to the clan aspect, yes and no. Like, if you're in a clan or if you're in a group or whatever it's called in one of these games, yeah, you're communicating about the game, you're talking, your clan is pumping you up. Yeah, we got to get the new character, we got to play, we got to do this. At the same time, there's a lot of like, you feel like responsibility because now when you've spent so much, they expect you that you're going to be the one who's going to spend again, who's going to get that character, and you're going to play that event, and it's going to help out your clan or whatever it is for the next event. And if you don't, it's not like anyone could get angry at you for not doing it, but it just becomes a thing.
And you know why that became a thing for you, Phil? It's because you're terminally online. You care more about what those strangers thought about you in a mobile game than the standard of living for your own damn wife. You really felt pressure from people that you did not know to spend real money and take food from your family to appease strangers. But then you want to come on your damn podcast and talk about how other people are terminally online. Phil, you got to stop with this, man, because this is beyond ridiculous at this point. You went into debt and almost lost your house for strangers, bro? Really?
Just something you do, right? It's just what I'm doing. But like I said, that was many years ago. And I don't do that shit anymore. Like, I've been done with that for many years of overspending like that and going crazy. I do still play mobile games. And by the way, it's not WWE champions all the time. There's a few other games I casually play from here to there. Do I spend money on them? Yes, I do. It's my money. I have a right to. But I'm not stupid. I'm not doing what I used to do where it's out of control and there's addiction involved. That's why I warned my viewers about this. When I played the game last year on streams, I was like, guys, we're going to do this pull. Right? I'm going to show you the odds of actually getting something good in a mobile game. You're going to see firsthand. I'm going to spend the money to show you. Let this be a learning lesson for you that you don't fall into this level of addiction. You're doing this shit because this is going to fuck you up. You could end up in a horrible financial position because of dumb things you did. You know, my bankruptcy.
There's other consequences too.
So does anybody realistically believe that Phil, the gambling addict, is playing other mobile games and he has not went too far? Do any of us actually believe that? Because Phil has not been able to show that he has restraint in other areas. He always lashes out, which means he's still very impulsive. He has not learned how to be patient and to be still. Sometimes all you got to do is just stop moving and let stuff move around you. See where dust settles and then you continue. But he's so damn antsy and he's so damn paranoid and he's always walking around on eggshells because he don't know what's going to happen next, because the only thing that's for sure in his life is the money he's going to spend on these damn games. And I'm telling you, Dents, this ain't going anywhere. Nowhere. So just know the second you give him $1, it's going to those damn mobile games. Period.
Go ahead.
Do you think it's ever affected in your interpersonal relationships?
In regards to what? Like with my wife?
Not with your wife, but more so like your ex. Like do you think like it affected
no.
like your
That had nothing to do with it at
relationship
all. Zero.
Okay.
Zero impact on that.
So you're telling me that you were in a relationship and you spending a large part of your money on mobile games had absolutely no impact on the detriment of your relationship. And we're supposed to believe that. When we know, when you look up divorces and other things, a lot of relationships end because of money issues. Let's just be real about it. You know, love don't keep the lights on, as they say. So you're trying to tell me this had absolutely no effect whatsoever? Come on, Phil. And this is why people don't believe the things that you say. Because even if something as simple as this that we know would apply, you act like it doesn't even matter. It's crazy.
Yeah. In fact, it mostly got bad during the time when I was falling out with my ex. That's when it got really bad. You know, basically, I've said this to my audience too. Like there was a time period for about a year and a half where we were living together, but we weren't really together. You know what I'm saying? Like we were more like roommates than we were romantic. And there was so much bad going on there. And that was one of the things that got me kind of hooked into spending on WWE Supercard.
So he wants to try to blame his issues. Now, mind you, at the time, Panda was like 19, 20 years old. Now, he's already a streamer. He's already making money. How could you blame you spending money on a mobile game on her? That makes no sense. And if anything, she is far more insightful and has far more mental acuity than Kat ever will, because she was able to realize how much of a bum you were early on, and she began to separate herself from you. She didn't want anything to do with you. Even to this date, nobody can get her to do an interview, say a word about you. She acts as if you do not even exist. And shout out to Panda Lee, man. You're better for it. If I was you, I would do the same thing.
Which was the first one that I really started spending insane amounts of money on. Yeah.
Well, real quick, because you claim that your spending came from the dysfunction in you and Panda Lee's relationship, right? Well, after y'all broke up, you were still spending money on this game. Even to this day, you're married with your so-called wife who you claim you love so much and things are so great. So if that was the catalyst for your spending, why are you still spending now if, according to you, your life is so good? You see how this stuff don't make sense?
I got one more thing I want to do before I go.
Okay.
You're a big wrestling fan.
Not anymore. No.
Not anymore?
No.
How long did you watch wrestling?
I started watching wrestling in the 80s. It was my godfather who got me into it because I went over his house for a party and he had Survivor Series on his TV, and I didn't know what it was. And immediately I latched on because they're like superheroes or cartoon characters on there doing crazy shit, you know? So I've been watching since the 80s, but I didn't watch during the Attitude Era. Then I came back after the Attitude Era. Then I stopped watching.
So you
for a
skipped the
long
good part.
time.
So now we know what's wrong with Darksydephil and what happened in his childhood. He missed the damn Attitude Era. It all makes sense now. I'm sorry, man. I had to. Because when I was coming up, that was everything, man. The Attitude Era. So around that time, I was probably like 10, 11 years old when things were going crazy. And man, just flipping from WWF to WCW and back and forth. And it was just glorious, man. School the next day, DX, Kane and Undertaker, The Rock. I mean, it was crazy. What a time to be alive. But damn, Phil, you missed it.
I did. I skipped the Attitude Era, and I skipped, I quit doing Smart Guys, my wrestling commentary show, in 2014. And then I watched wrestling for like another year or two, and I stopped cold turkey. And I only just started watching again this year, only for 4 months, and then I stopped again. So,
yeah. I had a 10-question quiz I had for you for WWE. And I want to see how well you did on it.
Now, look, people could say what they want about Wings. I'm not saying he's a great person, all right? But I will give him credit for this, right? He knew he was going to come on here and talk with Phil. He thought Phil was a true WWE fan, even though we know now Phil was just grifting to make money for his Smart Guy show. So this is kind of a wholesome thing. He has some genuine questions for him. I mean, look at Wings' face. He's genuinely excited about this. I mean, I just want to point that out.
Oh, go for it.
I'm going to start with the easy questions, and they're going to progressively get harder.
Okay.
How well you think you're going to do?
I don't know, because I don't know what time period these questions are from. So
they're
I have no
from
idea.
the 80s to current day. 80s to current day.
I'll probably get half right.
All right. First question. The pedigree is the signature move of what wrestler?
Triple H.
Triple H. That's correct. That's a correct answer. Old Triple H. Do you have any opinion on Triple H? Do you think he's good for the company?
Oh, at this point, I have no idea. I know a lot of people don't like him anymore. They say that now that he's in a position of power, he's ruining everything. But I'm not really following in the last couple of years, just the 4 months I followed. So I don't know. Back in the day, everyone hated him because he controlled the company, basically, married Stephanie, and then he was always on top. So people didn't like him.
I thought it was always a Keemstar move, the whole Stephanie McMahon test. Because I was watching wrestling when Tess was going to marry Stephanie McMahon, and all of a sudden Triple H married her behind the scenes. But realistically, Tess was never in the running. They were trying to push him up the card.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Now, did you see Phil there? He basically disassociated. Wings, he don't care about what you're talking about, bro. at all. He brought you on here so he can convince you of how happy he is and how good him and his wife are doing, how good his business is doing. He bamboozled you, bro. He had you thinking that you was about to come on here and do some friendly banter back and forth, but really he treated this like a therapy session.
So here's the second question. Who was the first ever WWE Universal Champion?
Oh, Universal Champion? I don't know. It might have been, was that Finn Balor? And then he lost the title right away? No, I don't remember that. No.
Chris Jericho.
Really? I didn't
Chris
even know
Jericho.
that. I had no idea.
You wrong, Wings. Chris Jericho was the first undisputed champion. Back in the day, he beat Rock and Stone Cold on the same night. All right. The Universal thing, I'm not sure about though.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Who was the very first WWE champion? Period. Like federation and everything. Who was the very first one?
Oh, wait. So you're going all the way back to the very beginning of WWE?
WWF as well. Not the changeover.
Yeah, you're talking old school. I have no idea. Zero.
Nature Boy Buddy Rogers.
Yeah, no. No, that was before my time, that's for sure.
Okay, so we should go a little bit easier. Who was the first Black World Champion?
Booker T. No, I take that back. Ron Simmons.
Ron Simmons is the answer. Correct.
A little backstory about Ron Simmons. He was also a beast at Florida State. Look up that man's football tape. He was a complete animal.
All right. Bruno Sammartino or Hulk Hogan? Who pulled more money throughout their career?
Oh, wow. Wow, that's a tough question because Bruno was the innovator at the beginning and Hogan was there during the prime time. See, I would say Hogan, but I don't know if you're scaling for inflation. I would say Hogan.
I'm not scaling for inflation. I'm talking about dollars to thing.
I'm going to say Hogan.
It's Bruno Sammartino. Like he pulled more money than Hogan ever did.
I'm not going to lie. I thought it was Hulk Hogan. Now, Hulk Hogan as the American hero, whatever his gimmick was in the 80s, that's before my time. I didn't really watch Hulk Hogan until the late 90s when he was Hollywood Hulk Hogan, so that was before my era. But I was of the understanding that Hulk Hogan was one of the biggest draws in the business, if not the biggest, aside from Stone Cold Steve Austin. I didn't know that Bruno had him beat. That's a nice little, interesting little tidbit there. But you see how Wings is actually bringing something to the conversation outside of the typical, oh, feel sorry for me. And I know he had his moments for sure where he was self-loathing and feeling sorry for himself. But at least he thought enough about the audience to try to bring something here that people would actually kind of want to listen to.
What nationality is former wrestler Fit Finlay?
Irish?
Correct. He's Irish.
Yeah.
All right. Now that he's known as Triple H, what is the ring name of the wrestler signed in 1995? What was his original name?
Terrorizing.
Correct.
Yeah. Awful. Worst fucking name ever.
It's kind of like the Ringmaster. Remember the Ringmaster with Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Yep. Awful. All those gimmicks back then were so terrible.
Story time with Uzi real quick. I remember back in the day, when you were a kid, you all in when it comes to the entertainment world, whether it be music, sports, whatever. You know everything about these guys. But the wrestling industry was still shrouded in mystery, right? You couldn't really tell what their real names were and all this other stuff. And the internet was still kind of in its infancy. So I remember going over my cousin's house and he was a little bit older than we were. I was probably like 10 or 11. He was probably like 16 or 17. He was almost grown. And he had an old VHS tape from back in the day when we had VCRs. And it was a tape of Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he was not Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was Stunning Steve Austin. Now, prior to this, I had never seen a Stunning Steve Austin. It was always the bald-headed, beer swelling, you know how Stone Cold is. But he showed me a long blonde hair Stone Cold that was smiling and greeting the fans, and it was just a completely different character. And that's when my eyes were open to the whole wrestling industry. I'm like, oh my goodness, these guys are really good at this, because especially when you were a kid, it's a lot easier to convince you of things. But when I seen that, my eyes were completely open. And looking back on that, I'm still a little salty about my cousin for ruining wrestling for me. I still had at least good two and a half, at least 3 more good years of me actually enjoying it. He had to ruin it for me early. I ain't never forgot about that.
Fucking Tatanka, the Native American, who wasn't actually Native American in any way, shape, or form. He was like a Latino guy. It's fucking terrible. It's to dance around and pretend like he's a Native American, like so offensive. It's like, Jesus.
I don't think it's offensive at all. You're playing a character. Yokozuna was not really Japanese. He was Samoan, but he played the character very well. If anything, it speaks to their talent level that they're able to pull it off, even though ethnically that is not what they are. I think that's a better way of viewing it.
Dude, they always did offensive shit. Like the whole Iraq, like Vince McMahon's a racist. He's a racist, sexist person.
He always 100% was doing it on purpose. He knew he was pushing the envelope. He knew people would talk about it. I mean, yeah, he was totally a troll in that regard.
Vince is the best promoter that has ever lived, and it's not even close, because he made more money promoting fake fights than anybody ever did promoting real fights. And that's a fact. He was able to tap in to the psyche of society and try to mimic what people were feeling in the form of these characters. And this is why they resonated so well. When you look throughout the Attitude Era, I mean, it was just laced full of talent. It was something there for everybody. It really was.
All right. Who is the youngest WWE champion of all time?
Oh, fuck. At one point, it was Randy Orton, but someone might have been younger after him, and I don't know. But it was Randy Orton at one point.
Randy Orton is the correct answer.
Ah, okay.
Look at Wings. Now, I don't know, this is the tone of the video has changed a little bit, but I'm having a little fun with this. I hope y'all are too. But I remember when Randy Orton had first came in. Now, by this point, I wasn't watching no more. I'm in high school. I'm thinking I'm the toughest guy in the world. Wrestling's corny. It's, you know how it is when you transition up out of that. But it's so crazy how time just neutralizes everything. You know, it's just undefeated, because now Randy's the old guy, man. And sometimes I see it, I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Especially with this whole John Cena about to retire. Again, I remember when those guys came in, and, you know, I wasn't really fond of them because I was still attached to the old guard, you know, and they're part of the reason why I left, but I still respect what they were able to do.
This was a kind of a bullshit question, but who body slammed Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3?
Oh, everyone knows that's Hulk Hogan. That's a super easy question.
Yeah, but like the question is super easy, but it's like people they build it as like this is the first time Andre's ever been picked up.
Yeah,
but like everybody's done it. Like mid card guys used to slam him in Japan and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Here's one. Here's a tough one. Who created the 450 splash?
Oh, who created it? I actually have absolutely no idea.
You're gonna be shocked by this. This is why I concluded this one. You gonna give a guess?
No, I really have no idea. No clue.
Scott Steiner.
Really? I wouldn't have
Scott
believed
Steiner
that.
created the 450 splash in 1989.
Yeah, he did it. I remember he did it, but I didn't know he invented it. Wow, that's crazy. Because now it's a cruiserweight thing, you know. But he was a giant dude always.
Yeah, I had no clue about that. I thought he was going to say like Rey Mysterio or Eddie Guerrero or something like that. But since we're talking about high flyers, let me give you some insight on who I used to like growing up. Jeff Hardy was that guy. And I'll give you a little story too. Back when I was still in the military, I was stationed in Southern California, and they used to do things for us, like have professional athletes come out there, like Chargers players would come out there sometimes. Every now and then we would get a movie star that would come out there and talk with us, whatever. And it was a way to boost morale, right? And so one time, Jeff Hardy came on base, and I'm like, I got to figure out how I can go holler at Jeff, right? So I get an opportunity to talk to Jeff. Jeff is super cool, laid back, and he told me a story about how he got into wrestling. He wasn't even old enough to do it. And he did not take a break from wrestling until he actually got hurt. So he had never checked his bank account, never did any of that stuff because he was just on the road the whole time. And so he finally got hurt and he went home. And that's the first time he said he checked his bank account, and he just couldn't believe it. And I'm just like, it makes you wonder, because you got so many guys out here who they pass away early for a number of different reasons. But all this shit that Jeff then jumped off of and fell through, and it's just amazing that he's still walking around. Shout out Jeff Hardy, man.
Dude, Scott Steiner was always fucking big. Like, you know what's the sad thing about Scott Steiner is, like, he literally right now in his career, he's still doing WWE stuff in his like 60s.
Yeah.
And it's like, how bad were you with your money? Because like Ric Flair was notoriously bad with his money. That's why he wrestled well into like his 70s, because he would blow his money as fast as he would make it. And I think Scott Steiner, I don't know the man's finances by no means, but like to still be doing this, is he doing it for the love of the game, or is he doing this because he needs to pay rent?
Probably a little of both, you would think, because if he really hated it, he probably wouldn't do it. But at the same time, hey, money talks.
You hear how DSP sighed right there? He tired of this wrestling question shit. He want to talk about how bad his life is, Wings. Why are you asking him about wrestlers, bro? But I did think that this was really well put by Wings, because if you look at what he's saying, he's really using Scott Steiner as a backdrop to really tell Phil about himself in so many ways. Like at some point, Phil, you need to figure something out, because we know you don't have no retirement. So in order for you to make money, you have to keep doing what you're doing. You don't have any other form of revenue coming in. And that's a problem. It's a huge problem. This is why I asked him, are you doing it? Is he doing it for the love of it, or because he has to pay rent? Now, Phil would try to convince us that he's doing it because he loves it so much and he can see himself doing any other thing in the whole entire world, right? Well, the truth is, you have to do this because you can't do anything else in the whole entire world, Phil. But really, this was, I mean, I sift through a lot of this, man. It was so damn boring. My goodness. And Phil just kept on running his damn mouth. I'm just like, what was the point of bringing rings on if you just gonna talk the whole damn time? Ain't he the guest? My goodness, Phil. It's okay to be quiet sometimes, bro. Damn, it might help you sometime. You should try it. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Urban style content. I'm dead.